Ever since Roblox released back in 2006, creators have consistently been striving to use the tools provided by the site to make the best games possible. They've created worlds and true works of art for people to experience, from the chaotic and action-packed beaches of D-Day, the surrealistic dimensions of the normal elevator, the expansive liminal hallways of Doors, or the terrifying forests of Elmira. It adds a little something for everybody. However, there's one game published in late 2021 that I feel has risen above the rest, and very well may stand as one of the greatest games ever released on the platform. Troll HQ Raid, initially released on November 11th, 2021, is an ongoing action-adventure game being developed by longtime Roblox game developer Telemanexos. A veteran of the Roblox industry, he has made various experiences for people to enjoy, with one of his other well-known works of art being A Strange Store, an epic adventure where you try to understand the inner workings of a mysterious convenience store within the desert. As acclaimed as that game is, however, I hold firm in my opinions that his best work is Troll HQ Raid, and with the highly anticipated 7th part on the horizon for release, I want to show everyone just how great this game is. So without further ado, let us commence forth. We begin the game in a forest at the southmost point of an unnamed island. The objective is to head for the titular Troll HQ in the distance, but you will find there is much more to this area than initially meets the eye. But before we discuss that, I think it's prudent that we first discuss the mechanics of Troll HQ Raid. The main gameplay loop consists of traversing the various chapters of Troll HQ whilst dispatching the inhabiting troll soldiers with whatever tools you have at your disposal. The troll soldiers are the main enemies of Troll HQ, and they are some of the most mechanically interesting enemies I've ever encountered in any interactive medium so far. They will run around and attempt to kill you whilst you do the same. Not only are they fearsome foes to begin with, but their placement will constantly make you need to approach each situation with an open mind and plan out your moves with tactical efficiency, as dying in this roguelike game means restarting from the beginning of the level. This game is actually controller-smashingly difficult, and I've smashed multiple controllers while playing through it. Your loadout for dispatching the horrors of Troll HQ will start out as fairly standard, but as the game progresses, you will come across various different weapons with which to expand your arsenal, with the tools at your disposal changing with every level, constantly forcing you to branch out and change your approach for each situation. During your travels, you will find weapons like the subsonic recoil reverser, the AR-2, and the gun. Look hard enough and you may even find a weapon with the power to end the world as we know it. All these guns have their own unique effects while at the same time managing to all be completely viable. My personal favorite weapon is the Peacemaker, a sniper rifle with the convention-shattering effect of arcing its bullets upward in a complete mind-breaking defiance of gravity, making for far more interesting shootouts when put against your generic firearms that follow the laws of the universe and invoking existential horror in those who use it. It can be found during the first level in the Armory, one of the scariest locations in the entire game in my opinion, due to its infestation of zombies. It's safe to say that this area will most certainly give you the creepy crawlies, so please do give serious consideration to your intolerance of being scared before playing this game. Now, back to the beginning chapter of Troll HQ Raid. Your sole task is to make the journey to the main HQ in the center of the map and enter it. But if you choose to go off the beaten path and explore, you will be sure to find some extra secrets and goodies that you wouldn't normally find. This can include hidden weapons, world building details, and other things that help to really bring this world to life. My particular favorite area is the giant hole found on the southmost part of the map. On top of its massive scale and overall grandeur, if you look hard enough, you might also just find the developer has gone out of his way at every opportunity to make this world shine, or in this case, troll, which in fact goes for the entire game, with such consistent quality that it truly is a technological marvel, or in this case, a trollnological marvel. This truly is one of the most fleshed out worlds I've seen in a video game, and all this extra work put into bringing this world to life really helps to make you feel like a real counter-troll soldier. The map being as big as it is, you may find it difficult to traverse the environment in a timely manner, The developer, however, has anticipated this and has provided various different vehicles to help you travel the map. Although to balance this out, you'll need to watch out for traps and such that will quickly put a stop to your radical road trips. Now, that's what I call a stop driving moment. Now, I've neglected to mention one of the coolest aspects of this level. There is actually a third style of traversal, that being the swimming. There is actually an ample amount of water around the map of Chapter 1, which on top of the wonderful visual fidelity, gives you a whole new way of traveling the world. This is an extraordinary feature and, in my opinion, one of the best aspects of the game as a whole. Moving on to the second chapter, Entrance, the game slows its pace. Now you need to contend with not just the hazards of Troll HQ, but also the darkness, as you use your flashlight to navigate the interior of the building. This makes for some tense moments, and I feel that this is particularly the most tense part of the game overall. I think I suffered from heart failure at the time due to how on edge I was during this part. I encourage those who suffer from cardiovascular issues to play this game, as it will most likely be good training for your heart and eventually make you immune to heart problems. This level also has a tough platforming challenge that will be sure to get your blood pumping. Overall, this is a great level that only expands on the mechanics of its predecessor. One thing I think is worth mentioning is that despite the innovative addition of water in the first chapter, it is noticeably absent from this one. This change is quite bizarre to me, as the swimming was by far one of the most interesting parts of the early game, and I find it odd that it would suddenly be neglected like this. Aside from that, however, this chapter is very solid. Excellent work on the part of the developer, he should get a good gaming award. The next chapter is called Lost, and this very well may be my personal favorite level of the bunch. Lost takes place deep in the bowels of Troll HQ, and on top of successfully carrying over the slow burn and bone-chilling atmosphere of the preceding level, offers what may currently be the toughest challenge added into the game so far, with the level design constantly pushing you to approach each combat encounter in different ways. This level notably has some devilish puzzles and traps to keep you on your toes, along with some lore to be discovered, explaining a few things about the world of Troll HQ. Now, this is what I call a lore. One thing I think is worth bringing up is the continued absence of water elements. I'm still not sure why the developer has neglected to include it in this level as well. While it is not completely game-breaking, I do think that there was some serious missed potential. Aside from that, however, this level hits it out of the park. Excellent work to everyone on the dev team. Up next comes Chapter 4, Revenge. This chapter is more derivative of Lost, doing generally the same thing. Though, don't simply think that everything is left completely unchanged. Your weapon, as per tradition in every level, has been changed. You are given a silenced weapon this time around, meaning that you now have the option to take out your enemies in silence, maintaining stealth throughout your tour of duty, possibly allowing you to deny any involvement later on, leading to the avoidance of any potential civil unrest after the fact and making the world a better and more loving place. This level also notably ramps up the difficulty even more so, punishing you for going out of bounds and initially giving your enemies an elevated advantage. You can also no longer sprint, a change that carries throughout the rest of the game and forces you to think more tactically, because your lethargic ass can't be bothered to outrun enemy gunfire anymore. I don't actually remember if this level has water or not because this level wasn't memorable, but because right after completing this chapter of the game, part of my ceiling collapsed on me, inflicting me with retrograde amnesia, which caused me to forget most of my life up to this point. Chapter 5, Transportation, is by far the most divisive chapter of the whole game, not due to poor quality, but instead because of the subject matter presented. Please do be advised that this chapter contains elements of torture. Aside from that, however, it only serves to build upon the foundations of the previous chapters, and also gives you one of the most unique and interesting guns to work with, which is so cool that I actually really sort of feel like I am cool when I use it. The atmosphere here is once again done flawlessly, with the dimly lit corridors and extra hidden details once again bringing this world to life. This chapter doesn't have water, but it does have true-to-life gravity simulation and something else almost as good as water. Though, before we talk about that, we need to discuss what I consider to be the official endpoint for Act 1 of Troll HQ Raid's story. Chapter 6, Universe Trade Center Incident, is by far the shortest and most shocking chapter of the game. I look at this less like a full chapter and more like a cutscene. All that proceeds in this level is that you walk down a road after escaping the transportation center for a short time and then bear witness to one of the biggest trolls in interplanetary history, with the demolition of the Universe Trade Center by troll forces causing mass devastation and chaos, setting up for the second act. This was an incredibly hard-hitting scene emotionally, and after witnessing it, I ran down the street weeping for about 4 hours. The level of tragedy is truly unmatched. If you notice the plane that hits the building, it looks similar to the one constantly cycling overhead in the beginning of the game. I took the time to reach out to the Telemonexos to ask if it was the same plane. However, I did not get a conclusive response. If the plane is in fact the same, then it would tie the locations together marvelously, but for now we can only speculate. I hope that the Universe Trade Organization will be able to recover from this horrible tragedy, as the way things have ended currently make me feel as if I have become an objectively worse person after experiencing what I have, and I am living in constant fear that I will do something horrible to the point of scarring humanity as a whole very soon. It should be added that there is actually another ending to the game, though its canonicity is disputed. In order to achieve this ending, you'll want to jump up to this hidden area in the previous chapter to breach the bounds of the map. After that, you'll want to traverse this field of light and absorb its aura while doing so. Eventually, you will come across a hidden troll and must then kill him. After doing so, the following happens.
Here now. I guess I better reset the timeline and go back and do things how they were intended to be done, though. Well, goodbye to this universe. It has been a cool stay. Oh, it's happening.
Ultimately, it's unknowing if this has any bearing on the rest of the game, but it is certainly an interesting addition, and one that I hope may be expanded upon in the later chapters of the game, because this ending helped me gain a better perspective on life, and I feel may have the potential to change the course of history single-handedly. And it brings me great sadness to say that we have finally covered everything in the game thus far. But I have, however, managed to find what appears to be the design doc for the fabled 7th chapter of the game. I don't know how it will ultimately turn out, but after reaching out to the developer of the game, he has claimed that it will be visually stunning and also feature voice acting, a technical first for the game. I've chosen not to reach out to Raymondo, voice actor of the game, because he is a freak. And a gobshite. This is one of the best games I've ever played. Please release the next part sooner. It's very likely that I will probably hurt people.